Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 6:15 on Saturday the 7th of August. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. Sun is peeking out, which is very, very nice. We've not seen a great deal of that this week. It's been very grey and overcast. And to be fair, there still is an awful lot of cloud around, and it is forecasting rain today. We've had rain pretty much every day this week, but it's been that very light kind of showery rain and patchy. You can drive along for an hour in sunshine, and then all of a sudden there's a monsoon. Descends for 5 minutes, and then you pass out the other side of it and it's back to sunshine again. It's been a bit weird, but the land did need it. I've still needed to come down and keep on top of the water inside the polytunnel, but at least I've been saved from watering outside this week. I'm just wondering whether I'll get away with doing much outside or not today, if this big rain that's forecast actually turns up. A couple of little disasters in the garden this week that I noticed when I came down during the week after work to check on the chickens and water inside the polytunnel, but I'll show you those a little bit later on. First things first, as usual, get inside, get opened up, and I'll catch up with you as we go through the video. Usual, first things first, sort the chickens out. They're quite happy pecking away there at the corn. They were kicking up a right fuss just now as I came. Unbelievable. You would think they'd never been fed. They do make a big drama. Not expecting that much in here today. I cleaned out on Thursday, so there's only one day. A lot of mess in here, and for some reason they've all gone in this end nest box. We've got 6 in there. That's got to be the only one. There's only 6 chickens, so I'll be stunned if there's anything in the others. Nothing. Yeah. They've gone through that food since Thursday. It's about half full. Well, that'll need topping up, but let me get in the cabin, get the coffee on, and then we'll see what we can get done today. Well, good morning. It's the weekend, thankfully. It seems to have been a long time coming this week. Strange with the weather. We've had this kind of patchy rain it's not really been heavy. It's been that light drizzle that kind of floats in, hangs around for an hour and then disappears. And then we've had the odd bit of quite heavy and sometimes torrential rain that just like appears out of nowhere over a very small area. And I was talking to people who were saying, oh, it's absolutely throwing it down here, huge rain. And I'm going, well, it's not here, I'm only 6 miles away. What's going on? But it has been gratefully received, especially out on the raised beds. All those potatoes out there and the corn really needed a bit of rain, so I am grateful for that. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you are kicking back now and enjoying the weekend, taking time off work to enjoy yourselves and perhaps do a bit of topping up on your preps. And kind of on that subject of topping up, I have been topping up as usual as I've been going through the week. I did a little bit at the end of last weekend on the toiletries front. So I went round all of the discount stores, hunting out the cheap razor blades and shaving foam. I'm always topping up on things like antiseptic cream, paracetamol, headache tablets, things of that nature. So I got quite a lot of that at the end of last weekend, and again during the week as I've been kind of floating around after work. In terms of availability of stuff in the shops, there's the odd empty bit of shelving starting to creep in. I mentioned toiletries there. Things like shower cream, bit bizarre. Antiseptic liquid, TCP, I've not seen that for ages. Not quite sure why that is. All of the usual places I go to where it's sort of falling off the shelves because there's that much of it, all of a sudden it isn't. Fresh vegetables, again, quality issues with those. I bought some carrots on Friday, not yesterday, last week. And by Sunday they were turning black. Potatoes, similarly, what are supposed to be new potatoes with the very soft flaky skins, bought some of those, and again within 2 or 3 days they were starting to actually break down and rot. So don't quite know what's going on there, whether it's the odd planting season that we've had this year and things haven't grown as quickly or as well as they should have done, or whether it's been the weird weather, the hot, cold with intermittent rain. I've certainly seen that affecting the garden here, and we'll take a run round in a short while and see what's going on there. Everything has been late in actually coming to maturity, and lots of things you might have noticed the other week, garlic and onion. Garlic very quickly gone to seed, which is quite strange. The onions, I think that's due to the heat, not bulking out like they normally would do. So yeah, weird stuff going on in gardens and supply chain. So do keep an eye out for that and do keep topping up. The pandemic that we've been having for the last, it seems forever, year and a half now, that was supposed to have gone away, but very, very strange. Governments seem to be very reluctant to relax all of these new laws that they brought in to control everybody. And we seem to be going the opposite direction. Instead of relaxing and getting back to normal, we seem to be tightening up even more. The age for people getting the jabs has reduced. We're down to 16, 17-year-olds and talk about even younger children getting vaccinated. Even though here in the UK, where are we now? We're 40 million plus. We're well over half the population, adult population, have had both of their jabs. So all of these restrictions talk about passports being required to go to cinemas and coffee shops, and certainly for travel. Lots of talk about that becoming mandatory, and in quite a few countries around the world, France in particular, it is now mandatory. They've brought it into law that to go to public spaces like restaurants, coffee shops, cinemas, you need to produce your evidence of having both of your jabs. That's had an impact in quite a few countries around the world, with pushback from the public, some really big demonstrations in mainland Europe, and although it's not been reported in the media, some quite big demonstrations here in the UK. You might remember I was in London for a day a few weeks back now, and I commented that I'd seen some really big demonstrations in the area around the Parliament, Westminster area in London. Didn't make the news, not the mainstream anyway, but it is there. There's a lot of angst, anxiety, anger, whatever you want to call it, about these continued restrictions after the crisis has passed, and in some cases, as I say, they seem to be trying to tighten up even more. So that's perhaps something to watch as well. there was something else and my mind has gone completely blank. All right, I got it. Economy. Government's finally admitting that inflation is here and it's not a flash in the pan that's going to pass by quickly. It's hanging around and continuing to grow. We knew that anyway from lots of different videos that I've put out. Prices have gone up dramatically and extremely dramatically in some cases. The Bank of England put out a report just this last week. They'd been complaining that inflation had gone over their 2% target for quite a while now, well over a month, maybe 2 months. They're still claiming that it's only 2.5%, but forecast to grow to 4% by the end of this year, which would be double their target. And yet they're not doing anything about it, and they're openly admitting that they're not doing anything about it. Normally you would find things like interest rates starting to go up, and they've not. They've kept them at these all-time lows. I forget what it is now, but it's under 1%, and I think it's under 0.5%, the base rate interest rate for the country. So again, they were trying to sort of suggest that it was still transitory, it's still short term, it's just not quite as short term as they expected, but don't worry about it, it is going to go away. And I'm not buying that at all. As I look around the shelves, things that I buy every day just to get through normal life, things like I've mentioned, like food and toiletries, have gone up, pack sizes have reduced. The cost of running a home, so your things like your council tax, gas, electric, water, all gone up, and quite significantly gone up. So inflation is definitely there. It's way over the rates that the government admits to. So again, keep topping up. Things are not going to go back to the olden day prices that we've enjoyed for the last 2, 3, 5, 10 years. They are steadily increasing, and in some cases rapidly increasing. But one thing that did catch my eye to do with the economy, and I don't mean to sound like I'm fear-mongering here, but if you Googled bank bail-ins and take a little look and see what that means, the Bank of England, I don't know about other countries, we did see it back in 2008 when the big financial crisis hit. We saw it in a couple of countries, Greece and Cyprus predominantly, but bail-ins, instead of the government bailing out the banks and throwing money at them to keep them going, bail-ins is where the government takes the people's money that's in those bank accounts to bail out the banks, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So instead of the government saying, there's some money, Mr. Banker, you can carry on as normal, they say, Mr. Banker, go through your bank accounts and take money out of them to use so that you can keep on going. It's called a bail-in. Now we did see that, morning cockerel, we did see that back in the big crash of 2008 in Cyprus, where the government raided people's bank accounts and used that money. And at the time, all hell was breaking loose around the world. How can this be? How dare you? But they did it, and everybody got over it, and it went back to business as usual. So it's quite worrying that there are media articles, not mainstream, you won't see it on BBC, Sky News, CNN or whatever, but it is out there, and the Bank of England's even printed out templates for the forms that banks can use to take money out of these bank accounts, and sent copies of these forms out to the various banks. Now, whether they do use that or don't use that, if there is a big, huge crash of the financial markets, I don't know. I don't know if they would dare do that here in the UK. But the fact that they're talking about it and sending forms out to the banks ready for them to use, that's a little bit worrying to me. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And if you're not aware of what that bail-in is, do a little Google search and take a look, and you'll see what it is that I'm talking about. Can you imagine the scene? A big financial crisis hits and everyone's scrambling, worrying about where the next paycheck's coming from and how they're going to feed the families. And then all of a sudden, when they go to the bank to take out the money, it's gone. It's been used to bail the banks out. Can you imagine the scene, the chaos? Yeah, I wouldn't be a happy Teddy, for sure. So, yeah, as I said, I'm not trying to fearmonger. It's something that I noticed, and it's not been widely reported, but it is there in the background as a tool for government to use should they feel the need to do so. So have a little look and keep an eye on that. In terms of what I'm going to do today, I honestly have no idea. There's a few bits and pieces I want to do around the planting front. I might do a little bit of harvesting. I've been putting some water in the polytunnel this morning while I was waiting for the kettle to boil and just taking a look. I've actually picked some cucumbers already and I'm kind of praying for the tomatoes to turn green, but we'll take a look at those in a moment. The new water tanks with those 2 IBC totes I put in the weekend, I do need to start digging around with the pallets and dismantling a few to make some framing for those. The reason that I've not done that already, in all honesty, is because I ordered some tank fittings for the outlet valves. It took forever for them to come, and when they did come, they're actually too small. They're the wrong size. I'm pretty convinced that I ordered the right size, but when I look on my eBay account, there is no size shown on the listing, so I don't know whether that was me with a schoolboy error or whether I got what was on the shelf. So I'm going to take a little look at those, get the tape measure out, do a bit more internet searching, but I can't really frame that in until I've got those 2 tanks connected together. One of them is actually full already. Indeed, it's overflowing with that bit of rain we've had over the last week or so. If I remember, I'll show you that as we walk around. So yeah, there's a few things that I want to be doing. I'm just not quite sure how much I'll get done outside. As I look through the garden room window, those dark clouds are still gathering, so the forecast might be true. We might be getting some rain. I'm not too worried if I can't get much done, because I do want to pop down to the farm shop again. It's only open on certain days and times, so during the week I physically can't go because I'm at work and it's too far away. By the time I get home from work, it's already closed. So if I don't go today, I'll be buggered because it's closed on Sundays. So I suspect I might be sneaking out. I have got loads of food for the chickens in the cabinets here, but I am conscious that globally there's already a shortage of grains, and the harvests this year haven't been what they should be. So I'm suspecting that back end of this year, start of next, we might start to see some empty shelves at the farm shop when it comes to things like chicken feed. So I am just, whenever I get the chance, adding to what I've got and keeping topped up so that I'm sure I can go all the way through the winter period. Anyway, I'm kind of digressing and going off topic. I need to get this coffee down me. Wherever you are, wherever you're doing, please do stay safe and well. I hope you are enjoying your weekend, and I'll catch up with you as we go through the video. Well, let's take a little run round, see what we've got planting wise. Strawberries. they're all gone now. But we're putting out lots of little runners, so I'm going to get some trays of compost sorted out so that I can capture all of these little runners, because look, they're all rooting, and then we'll build up stocks and overwinter these ready for next year, so I'll have even more next year. Sweet potatoes coming on well, nice growth on there. I know it's the wrong time of year to do these. You're supposed to have about 14 weeks to actually get any decent tubers out of them from this kind of stage, and that takes us into winter, so I'm not holding my breath for these, but it's all a learning curve. Really, these should have been out in probably April, May time, and clearly they weren't. I have actually got some more little slips that I've been growing in a glass on the windowsill at home. They're not as big as these, because it is the wrong time of the year, but I'm tempted to pop those in. That's the garlic from last week drying out there. Really nice bulbs on those. I'm pleased with that garlic. Oh, there's that tank, look. Absolutely chocker full of water. It's overflowing. But as you can see, the other one isn't, because they're not connected. But hey, it's 600, well, more than 600 litres. There's 600, there's 650, and it's above that. So it's there. Raised beds. Had a bit of a disaster in here this week. Potatoes doing real well. Still hanging in there. They're not ready yet. That one probably is, but I'm going to leave that for at least another week. This one's flowering like mad, which is really bizarre. That should have been dying back now, and it's not. Oh, there's that little tiny bucket left of tree potato seeds, which is still going strong. So again, I'm not going to touch that at all. Let me just check. I just wanted to see if there was any berries on that one, but no, there isn't. All of these potatoes doing really well as they work their way through the various ages to the end there. The end one probably is ready now for lifting, so I might be tempted to lift this one. Look at that, berries. That's from this other plant, and look at that, bloody snails. Look, I've picked loads of those out the polytunnel this morning when I was watering. Yeah, I might be tempted to lift this one because it's not doing anything, or not doing very much of anything. There is the odd bit of leaf here, but not a lot. We'll see. Sweet corn doing well. Oh, look at this. Look at this. First signs of life. Now, I don't know whether that's a good sign or a bad sign, because that looks like seed to me, rather than a corn cob. We've got it here as well. So don't really know. First time I've grown these, so I don't really know what to expect. But something's happening. It looks like wheat stalks, doesn't it? I mean, it clearly isn't, but it looks like it. The raised bed where I put those seedlings out, they've been attacked. That's caterpillars, I think, rather than birds. I've not seen any at all, but clearly they've been there. That's the garlic I was talking about, seeding, look, which is a bit disappointing. That's the old garlic, but even the new garlic, look, is seeding, which I didn't want. And the onions, as you can see, they're not big, and they should be by now. However, the big disaster is this other raised bed, which was absolutely teeming and looking really good, and now in the space of a week. It bloody isn't. It's completely trashed. Completely trashed. And that's not caterpillars, that's birds. That's damned pigeons. Similar story over here. You'll remember that there was a tree in here, and now there isn't. And again, I suspect that's birds. I don't think it's rabbits. It could be. It's not that high off the ground, but whatever it is, I'm bloody annoyed. A similar story over here. That chestnut. Here we go. Again, savaged. It is still hanging in there, but it's not looking very good. The other trees are looking quite good. They're surviving quite well out here and putting out fresh growth, so that's good. Let me just check and see how dry these are. Oh, actually they're not too bad underneath that mulch. So, a few disasters out here. Into the polytunnel. And here, it's a different story. Carrots doing really well. I'm tempted to pull one of these out. They are still quite far behind where they should be. But I am tempted. These were planted, I think it was March. Let me just pull a... Yeah, 27th of March. So in theory, these should be well ready, but I don't think they are. I think they're going to be small still. I might pull one out just so you can have a look. But clearly the succession planting is paying off, because these are coming really well now. The youngest ones. And I might be tempted to put some more of those out. Not much to report on the bushes. The blueberries have finished and gone. Still no sign of any figs on the fig tree. But I guess I can't complain, because it is putting out a lot of nice new growth from the bottom. So I will at some point, not now, but I will at some point take cuttings off these longer stems and try and get some more coming for next year. Tomatoes, lots and lots of tomatoes. This has been quite a big success this year compared to last. You'll remember last year I had no tomatoes really at all to speak of, but this year loads and loads of them everywhere I look. I just wish and they're still flowering, there's flowers everywhere. I wish they would start to turn red. They just don't seem to want to do that. They're just staying green. Cucumbers, lots of cucumbers kicking around here of various sizes. There's another one behind there somewhere, can't quite remember where it is. There's a couple of big ones at the back. And if you'll see those or not. There you go. Oh, they're there. But I picked some this morning. Look at that. These are big. Really big. Fill my hand, all of them. Even the smallest one is bigger than my hand. So, success with those as well. They're everywhere, look. Little baby cucumbers coming. So, yeah, really pleased with the polytunnel. Really good this year. Whilst they're late, and I have been buying carrots from the shops, I am going to have loads and loads and loads of them. And the same with the potatoes. I'm going to have loads of those as well. One last thing, let me just quickly run round and check that tree that I planted out. There is a temptation for me to plant those other trees out, get them into the ground before it's too late. But I am still nervous. Having had some disasters last year, I am still nervous of planting them out. But this actually doesn't seem to be doing too badly. No signs of digging round there, or chewing of the branch or the trunk, which is good. I don't know, what do you think? Should I plant them out or should I not plant them out? I really don't know. I mean, there's lots of nice new growth coming on there. What do you think? Let me know. I can add to my forest. There are natural spaces where I've planted before. This one died a death, but as you can see at the bottom, it is coming back. But if I leave it too long, I'll not be able to get them in the ground before winter. I hesitate because of the pests, but I also hesitate because the weather forecast says that in a week or two's time we're going to have another of those mega heat waves, and the last thing I want to do is put them in the ground now while it's nice and wet, and then all of a sudden it dries out before the trees had a chance to put some decent roots out, and I'll lose them because of the heat. Big dilemma. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I'm going to get myself back in the cabin, drag a few bits and pieces out, and we'll set about a little bit of planting, I think, before this weather breaks. Well, first things first, I filled this container up with a mixture of old soil from potatoes and a bit of new compost. There's a bit of chicken manure in there as well, so I'm just popping a bit of this blood, fish and bone into there, and I'll give that a bit of a mix in. Just to get a bit of goodness back in the soil. And then these are those other potato snips I was talking about. They're not huge sized, a few inches tall, that's all, but plenty of root growth on there. So I'm just going to pop these in. As I said before, I'm not really expecting a great deal to come of these, but hopefully something might. You never know. It's all an experiment. I've not done sweet potatoes before, so I figure it's better to learn now while there isn't a crisis. And we'll see how these get on. You never know, I might be pleasantly surprised. Certainly plenty of root growth on these. Right, I'll bob the camera over so you can have a little bit of a better look. So there's our sweet potato to go with the other sweet potato. You can see I've popped a bit of that blood, fish and bone in there as well, and just given it a bit of a water. So I'll pop this other one alongside that one, and hopefully in here they'll stay nice and warm, and we'll see what happens at the back end of the year. I've just been trimming off a lot of these little runners from the different strawberry plants, so I've popped a little tray in, and I'll just get these popped into the soil, and hopefully we'll have lots and lots and lots more strawberry plants for next year. They're quite forgiving, these. You can literally just stick your finger in the ground and throw them in. as long as they've got the roots into something, they're not too worried. But considering people who have been viewing the channel a long time will know, I started out with 6 strawberry plants, of which I think 3 survived. I overwintered them winter 2019 into 2020, and then through 2020 there's all of these plus those 2 raised beds outside, and you'll have seen me eating away pretty much all the way through 2020. So hopefully we'll repeat on that success as we go into overwinter 2021 and into 2022. From small things, big things can grow. You just need to persevere. Well, I've spared you the agony of watching me put compost in all these trays and buckets. I'm just giving everything a decent water, and then I can get some planting done. I've got water in the bottom of those trays, so they'll gradually soak that up, but clearly these containers need a bit of water in them to give the seeds a fighting chance. Well, you've seen me do this loads of times before. Pop little holes in the seed trays, and what I'm planting is a cabbage called Durham Early. So you can plant this now and then overwinter it so that you can have cabbage in the spring, which seems a long way off but we'll give it a go. And we'll see how we get on. I'll keep these in here in the garden room until they hopefully germinate, and then we'll pop them out. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to chance my arm and put them into the raised beds, or whether I do something in the polytunnel. I just need to protect them from the caterpillars and the pigeons and the rabbits and everything else that seems to love living here on my little piece of land. A couple of spares in there. So that's the cabbage. We'll get that all covered up and pressed down. And we'll see how we get on with those. So moving on to the carrots, and as usual I'll just sprinkle these out. These are so fine, it's nigh on impossible to lay them out properly. If there's any gardeners out there, they'll be tearing their hair out watching me doing this, but clearly it works, because we've done it all the way through the year, and all we really need now is to get a bit of soil on top. The trouble with this compost bag is you're always trying to break it up and not have too many big lumps, and that in itself is quite often the challenge. because it is quite lumpy. And hopefully that'll do. Well, it wouldn't be the weekend without the greenery for the chickens. They do really enjoy it. Cockerel leads them a merry dance, running around saying, eat this piece, eat this piece. But they are all enjoying it. And quite happy pecking away there. Well, that's a bit of succession planting done for the carrots. Another 2 buckets going in. So let's do the same thing with the potatoes, shall we? Well, we've done our carrots, so let's get some more potatoes. I've got a bag of potatoes here. They're just normal shop bought that I've kept until such time as they've started producing chits. Some are better than others in terms of the amount of growth of the chits, so I'll sort through those and we'll get a selection planted out. So that's a nice decent one there. Just pop that in, have a little bit of a rummage around and find the ones that have grown the most and keep the others and just continue to let them grow their chits. There's a nice one there. So we'll pop those in. I think 2, maybe 3, I don't know, in each bucket. There's a couple there that have got some decent sized chits on, so we'll get those popped in. I think we'll go for 3 in each bucket. As I say, some are better than others. I think we'll have that one, and we'll have that one. So that's those in, same as usual. We're just going to cover these over with a small layer of compost, and then as they grow I'll continue banking them up until we reach the top of the container. And hopefully we'll be continuing to harvest potatoes all the way through to Christmas as we did last year, but hopefully this year there'll be more of them and we'll be able to store some. Right, that's one of them done. I'll do the other one and we'll get them put with the other potatoes. Alright, let's take a little look, see what we've got in this bucket. The wind's starting to pick up now, so I'm going to have to get on with this fairly quickly. Just get rid of the foliage. I'm not sure if these are a bit early or not. I guess we'll find out. Got to be careful though, because I've just found a stray potato. So let's take a little look and see what we've got in here. Something's been chewing this bucket, which isn't a good sign. But I can already see lots of little baby potatoes. I think we might be a bit early with these. Oh, I don't know. There's some not bad sized ones there. Let's get that bucket back and get some soil back in it. Oh, be careful. Nearly lost a few. Well, lots and lots of baby ones. I think we might be a little bit early with these. There's one of the original potatoes. And there's another one of the original potatoes. Yeah, lots of smaller sized ones. They're nice, they'll still eat. They're just not as big as I would have liked. Just goes to show though, this planting season is a bit crazy. Well, they're still coming. Okay, there we go. Some bit better sized ones there. And the obligatory baby ones. Yeah, I think we're a bit too early. Impatience has got the better of me. Because there are an awful lot of very, very small ones in amongst there. Oh, here we go, some bit bigger ones. And I think we're more or less done. Yeah, it's looking that way. Oh no, there's one more there. As usual, I'll keep this soil, give it a bit of fertiliser. And mix a bit of fresh composting with it. But that's it, that's what we've got. So there we go. Not a bad little selection. A few too many small ones than I would like to have had, but all very, very clean. No scab, no rot. Not a bad little selection there. I'll get tidied up and I'll give you a better look at them once I've cleared this all away. I thought we'd take a quick look at this bucket of carrots. It's a bit early for these, I'm sure it is, but this is one of the straggler buckets that I transplanted some seedlings into when I thinned out. And bloody pests, I don't know if you'll see or not, but there's a slug there, and there's a humongous great slug, or snail, on the side of the bloody bucket. The birds can enjoy that. Let's take a little look, see what we've got. I'm not expecting much in this bucket, to be honest. I just want it out the way because it's kind of cluttering everything up in there, and I don't think it is doing much, so we'll get it opened up and take a look. Oh, I'm surprised. Look at this. I am surprised, I have to say. These are the old ones, the original ones that went in back in, oh, I think it was March. And then I transplanted a load of seedlings, which are these smaller baby ones here, that aren't really doing much at all. Lots and lots and lots of little tiny things. But it's been bugging me for a while, this bucket, so they're coming out. And to be fair, some of them aren't too bad at all. They'll certainly go in a meal, whereas the others, they're just taking up valuable space, really. I mean, look, tiny, tiny little salad vegetables. I think these have suffered in that heat wave that we had, and they've not really put anything on at all. But I know that the other buckets are doing much, much better. Those first ones got hammered with that 3-4 week, maybe longer heat wave that we had. So I wasn't really expecting much of them. But at the end of the day, there's enough in there for a bit of salad and for a normal dinner meal. And anything is better than nothing. I'll tidy this away and then you can see what we've got. I've just popped a little bit of water on those new potatoes I've put in. Not too much though, because looking at the sky, we are going to get some rain. The black clouds are moving in. But this is what we've got today. We've got the cucumbers I showed you earlier on this morning. Really nice size those, look at that. Bigger than my hand. Carrots, and another nice little crop of potatoes. Lots of small ones in there. They'll still eat, but I would have enjoyed them better if they'd been more this size. But I can't complain too much, given the weather we've had this year. And I'll just leave these others. I'll let those sit there for another few weeks and then gradually work my way through them. What I am really keen to get out are those potato berries. I can't remember where they are now. There are quite a lot of them buried amongst all this foliage. I'm really keen to see those start to go dark and be ready for harvesting and add to my stocks. Also really interested to see what happens with this sweet corn now that it's started to put out heads. I'm hoping that inside there we are going to get an actual head of corn. If anybody's got experience with these, let me know. Is this normal or is this not normal? Let me know what you think, because in all honesty I don't know. Well, as usual, the day is just flying by. Don't know where the time goes to, but I have to get off. I need to call in at the farm shop and it'll be closing soon, so bit of a short but sweet day today. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hope you're all staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. And I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's the garden looking? Bloody pests, they're everywhere on everything, and I couldn't believe that those seedlings had been chewed away to nothing. But harvest wise, pretty pleased with what I got out of there, and clearly an awful lot more to come over the coming months. How's your garden doing? Anybody any idea about that sweet corn? Is that looking normal or not? Let me know in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.